James Charles got exposed for messaging underage teen boys 2 years ago, which is something he admitted to at the time. There were many boys who came forward to expose James on social media for it. When he was originally exposed for it, he posted a video talking about it, then stayed silent about the allegations up until last year when he was doing promo for his new makeup brand and realized that he needed to talk about it. He's seen as a groomer, and most people don't want to buy makeup from a known groomer. He's been seemingly doing a rebrand to relaunch his career, and with that, he's been attempting to clear his name. He did an interview with Cosmo to attempt to clear his name by saying that he isn't a pedophile, groomer, or predator, but just simply didn't verify the ages of the teen boys. And he says that everyone makes mistakes and should be held accountable for said mistakes, but it's also important that we allow those people to grow and learn. That interview did not blow over well, nor did it change any minds about him. If anything, he just got called out for doing the article to promote his makeup brand. And Cosmo got called out for doing the interview with him and platforming a groomer. Then he also somewhat recently went on Sophia with an F's podcast to again attempt to clear his name.
I grew up in a time on YouTube where we are used to sharing every single aspects of our lives. And ever since day one, I have made a lot of mistakes growing up. I've had a lot of great moments, a lot of bad moments, a lot of embarrassing moments, and that's all documented online. You know, as YouTubers, we didn't have publicists, we didn't have PR teams. When we did something bad, we were taught that the appropriate response is to get on camera and have an open and honest conversation with the people that gave us the platforms in the first place. And I think that when I realized that I fucked up, like I had mentioned, I wanted to get online and have a conversation and apologize for what I did do, which is that when I was 21, I had conversations with two guys that told me they were 18. And after about an hour-long convo, I realized that they were lying and I blocked them, and that was it. So I apologize for something that I did do and that I recognized was wrong, which was not checking IDs and not taking proper precautions with the people that I was having conversations with. And I will forever admit that and be embarrassed by that and own that. But it just got so twisted into all sorts of crazy words and accusations and stories that literally just did not happen. Because I posted an apology, it turned into, oh, James Charles apologized for what was said in this tweet, or James Charles apologized for what was said in this video. But that's not what it was.
Similar to what happened with the article, people's minds were not changed about him. He and Sophia only received backlash for that podcast episode. And now he's resorted to calling out the alleged teen boys on Twitter, and honestly, it's justified. Yesterday, James got into some Twitter beef with a few guys, and people are surprisingly on his side this time. So a guy on Twitter named Ty posted old messages between him and James from Grindr. You have to be at least 18 to be on Grindr, and Ty even noted that he was 18 in the replies. Ty's tweet was captioned, "Every time I think back to this, I just start bursting out laughing." He then included some messages between him and James. The messages start with James saying, "It is, hello," and then Ty saying, "Prove it. Send a pic holding up 3 fingers," which James does. And Ty says, "WTF, ha ha ha." Then in the other screenshot, James says, "Leaving tomorrow, what about you?" And then 5 minutes later says, "Lovely." And Ty says, "You are never beating those allegations." The messages were pretty dry, so there was really no point in tweeting them. Ty said himself that he was 18, so James wasn't being creepy for messaging him and having a conversation with someone of age. Like, what do you mean he's never beating those allegations when he's talking to someone who's 18? I will say that it is an interesting age gap, though, if this was somewhat recent. But James wasn't having it, and he actually responded to Ty. James quote tweeted Ty and said, "Shocking news, adult queer man found on app specifically designed for adult queer men." Then James liked some tweets of people calling out Ty. One tweet said, "Not you trying to play the victim when you're legit a legal adult on an app for adults. Posting DMs is weird. You're weird." Then another person said, "So you're admitting that you were a consenting adult. What exactly was the point of the tweet then? He came through with the receipts and now you want to play the victim. Have some shame for real." But James wasn't done there. He got called out by 2 other guys for messaging them in the replies and came for them too. He was on a roll. In the replies of Ty's tweet, a guy named Raja must have said something about messaging James, but he did delete his tweet shortly after, so it's no longer available. But James did post his Instagram DMs with Raja with the caption, "Should I post your ID as well?" And he posted their DMs from 2021 where he exposed Raja for being 19 when they talked with proof that he shared his ID. The messages start with James responding to Raja's story, and his story is probably about him messaging James. And James said, "How did I know this was coming?" And Raja said, "Ha ha ha, what do you mean? Duh, I'm psyched." And James said, "Like I knew you'd post something about it." And Raja said, "Oh, did you want me to delete it?" And James said, "Preferably." And Raja said, "No worries, if so, my bad. It only got 30 views. Raja apologized and said, "It's gone now." And James said, "It's alright." Then said, "You're 18, correct?" And Raja said, "Yup, 19 on the 19th though." And James asked, "Would you mind sending a pic of your ID just to confirm please?" And Raja said, "For sure," and then sent sent a photo. Then James asked, "Would you mind getting your pic and name in there? Sorry, I know it's ridiculous, but just have to confirm." And Raja said, "I absolutely get it," and then sent another photo. James never actually posted Raja's ID for obvious reasons, but just based off their messages, it was clear that he sent James his ID and he was 19. Then the other guy in Ty's replies who got called out by James is named Miguel. Miguel replied to Ty's original tweet and said, "This has literally happened to every gay guy ever." And James responded to him saying, "Anything for a few Twitter likes, right?" And then James included screenshots of DMs between him and Miguel just recently. In March of last year, Miguel messaged James first and said, "Hey cutie." James didn't respond, so about a year later, Miguel messaged him again and said, "Hey, what's up? Like the new song, ha ha ha." James said, "Why do I recognize you from somewhere?" And Miguel said, "I was in LA and we met on Grindr, but we never met." And James said, "Ah, LOL." And Miguel said, "Apologies if this is strange. I'm just going to LA soon and we never hung out. Wanted to know if you'd like to meet up or something. I know this is super random, just don't really go to LA and like an adventure, ha ha ha." James said, "With what intention?" And Miguel said, "I mean, we can just get to know each other, get some coffee or whatever and hang out, see where it goes." Then Miguel continued and said, "I don't really know a lot of people out there, so it'd be nice to meet with someone who is knowledgeable on the city of LA." James said, "I'm not trying to be a tour guide, LOL." And Miguel said, "Didn't say you would be. I know a few spots myself we could hit. Would just be nice to talk to someone who knows the ins and outs so I can know what the city is like. But I understand if you're not on the same page. I know this is a little strange." Then Miguel did share Grindr messages between him and James, probably from last year, but James didn't respond. He quote tweeted James saying, "Let's show how it all started though, mama." The messages start with James saying, "Hi." Miguel said, "Hi." James said, "How are you?" And Miguel said, "Doing good. How are you?" "I'm not in New York right now though." James said, "Oh, neither am I. I gotta fix that, ha ha ha." Miguel said, "How do I know you're real?" And James said, "Would you mind setting a mirror selfie holding up 3 fingers so I know you're real, please? And then I'll do the same." And Miguel said, "Do you have Snapchat? I'll do it on Snap or Insta." Like I said, James did not respond, but Miguel did go on to say that he was trying to get James to pay for him to take a trip to New York City. James was getting a ton of support for calling these guys out and exposing their DMs. Like basically everyone in the replies was defending James, and any backlash he did receive was met with plenty of comments defending him. I've never seen so much James Charles support. I'm sure that motivated him to expose more and more DMs too. Everyone has been against James for the past 2 years, so to finally have people support and defend him definitely seemed to make him feel liberated, just with how vocal and comfortable he felt exposing all their DMs. It does suck for James though that he can't even talk to guys of age on social media or dating apps without getting DMs exposed. But then again, he probably should go for guys who are closer to his age, since he is 24 years old going after guys who are at least 18. But even though they are 18, there is still a pretty decent age gap there. If he did date someone closer to his age, there's less of a risk of their DMs getting blasted on social media, since that guy wouldn't have a reason to post them. Plus, I'm sure he'd be mature enough not to do so as a guy around the age of 24. But I'm not sure if we'll ever see the day James dates someone his own age. James did once say he wanted to date the absolute youngest guy while it's still being legal.
I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19 that looks a little bit older, or like 24 that like has a young personality.
Okay.
Not to get all conspiracy theory-ish, but with him trying so hard to clear his name the past year, a part of me does kind of wonder if James exposing these DMs is a publicity stunt in some way. I know that one of those screenshots date back to 2021, but I do find it odd that he seems to know the name of every guy he's ever DM'd. Like Raja's username on Twitter isn't even the same as the one on Instagram. So it's not even like James could see Raja's Twitter username, look it up on Instagram, and find him. It's a completely different username. It's just a little suspicious to me. But anyways, let me know all your thoughts about this situation in the comments, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video.